moving now into a team that does have a very good 2C. And do a
And
little bit of a
3C.
roster breakdown. Yeah, and I mean, respectable 4C. Gonna do a roster breakdown of the Dallas Stars. So for all the viewers, you're looking at a lot of numbers on your screen right now. Maybe not the most visually compelling display of information, but I
This is
think
a hockey nerd's equivalent of the like the cork board with like the red strings running through it and stuff like
A
that.
little
And you're
bit,
like,
yeah.
Look at my.
a little bit, but it is kind of all the information on one page. Whereas, I went through a lot of pages to get all this information. By the way, all this stuff came from Puckpedia and Elite Prospects. Also, shout out Money Puck, who did my advanced stats segment is almost entirely Money Puck. But yeah, the Dallas Stars is interesting here. So you have the core team at the top, and then the press box minor section, which these are guys who appeared in NHL games. And then minors are just pure guys who were in the minor leagues. And then prospects are players who have not hit the AHL or ECHL. And then colors, you have the numbers on a white background, regular season, numbers on a silver background are playoffs, because, Stanley Cup and Calder Cup are both silver trophies. Orange on their contracts means expiring this year. So these are, your pending expirations. Red means they are expired, which Dallas only has the one in their minor system. Other teams have a lot more red that have not done their contracts. And then green are new additions. I think that's everything we need to get started with. So I will start off to the side. They have 1.9 million in cap space left, so they're kind of done, I think. Although there are still rumors swirling around with Jason Robertson.
Yeah.
Who starting top left. We'll start with him.
Sure.
And he is. It's interesting. I don't know how they're going to be able to afford to retain him, Harley, and Bork moving forward. Even with the cap increase next year, I still think Harley and Bork are going to command a lot more money, and Robertson probably a little bit more than his $7.7 million, especially after having almost a point per game season this year. Played the full 82, got hurt in game 82. 35 goals, 45 assists for 80 points, a plus 10, and a 60% expected goals for percentage.
Wow.
Really dominant regular season this year, but he didn't necessarily feel super dominant.
I mean, he's not a very flashy player, I would say.
Yeah.
You don't look at him and think like, oh, he's like elite. A 35 goal season is great. Like, honestly, that's amazing, right? But you don't look at him and think of him as like an elite goal scorer. You don't think of him as an elite playmaker. He's not ever the fastest guy out there on the ice, right? But he just is really good at everything he does, right?
Yeah.
So, they need to pay this guy.
They need to pay him, or they need to get a
equivalent value,
equivalent top 6 winger, at a reasonable price point. Because like, you're not going to be able to get a guy that is going to cost a lot more than Jason Robertson.
No.
And they are going to need a guy that's not expiring this offseason either, because that creates the same problem. A guy expires in 2 off seasons, it's not as bad, because they have some big money coming off the books at that point.
We'll get there.
And then I think part of their playoff struggles was not having Robertson healthy. He played 11 of the 18, missed the first 7. So, the least important ones to miss, right, is the first round if your team makes it past the first round. But I don't think he came back healthy. I think he came back good enough to get cleared medically. He had 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points. He was a -5. Still had good expected goals for percentage at 56.
He looked pretty decent against the Oilers compared to a lot of the other players.
Yeah.
On this roster. So
yeah. And then Rope Hintz in the middle. Also Robertson, second round pick in 2017.
That's going to be a common theme.
A lot of
Stars is a lot of
draft
non-first round picks.
A lot of draft picks here. Another non-first rounder, Rope Hintz, second round pick in 2015. 76 games, 28 goals, 39 assists, 67 points, a plus 18 in a 55% expected goals for percentage. He is fantastic. I don't know if he is a Stanley Cup winning 1C.
Yeah, we haven't yet done the 1Cs are important segment yet,
right?
If that ever happens, but
right.
He definitely I think he's got a little bit of that 2C cut in his jib. He'd be a very elite 2C. He's surrounded by elite wingers here, on the Stars. So like that's a really really good thing for him. He was okay in the playoffs.
Yeah, 17 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points, and a -2.
I wouldn't say he was like fantastic.
Yeah.
Certainly not taking over any of their games or rounds, really, right? So
not really, no.
Yeah.
I think he could be a 1C that wins the Stanley Cup, but I don't think he's like a guy that I'm confident is.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Braden Shen, right? With St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah, if the stars align, stars align, then
yeah,
I think he could.
Wyatt Johnston has a crazy. If he was able to have a Ryan O'Reilly, he's the kind of player that could go on that kind of run, right? So
yeah, or Andre as that 2019 Bennington season, and
yeah, yeah. There's the right kind of tools around him for him to be the complementary piece for this team to go really far. But as a 1C, that the Stars are not constructed like the Avalanche or the Oilers or something like that, right? Where they have, or even the Panthers, right? Where they have an elite 1C that is, top of the league.
Yeah. What they do have an elite player of is Mikko Rantanen, who they acquired at the trade deadline this year. Very highly paid, and they kind of painted themselves into a corner. We're sitting here saying, how are they going to afford Robertson, Harley, and Bork moving forward? Decent part of that reason is because they gave Rantanen 12 mil, which he's worth 12 mil, right? 82 games, 32 goals, 56 assists, 88 points. That's combined. I didn't bother to break those down between Dallas and Colorado because that's just more numbers on the screen. And a 60% expected goals for percentage in the playoffs. 18 games, 9 goals, which he scored all those in about 4 games. 13 assists and 22 points, and a -3.
Yeah.
Extremely good player. It's just going to be interesting if they end up losing Robertson, Bork, or Harley, or two of them. Like, is that going to be worth it?
Right.
I'm not sure. And then the second line here, very different from that first line. That first line, 25, 28, 28 years old.
Yep.
These are the old guys here.
Yeah.
This is where they put all the vets. Jamie Benn is... I think they're going to want to not have Jamie Benn as a second-line winger on this team. But they don't have a ton of other options. 35 years old. Fifth-round pick in 2007. So, again, another player built through the Star system. Only making $1 million this year on his new contract. Has a full no movement clause, but a significant reduction from his $9.5 million he was making.
They're so happy about that.
In the regular season, he was still pretty decent. Mostly third line, a little bit of second line. 80 games, 16 goals, 33 assists, 49 points, and a +3. Good expected goals for percentage. In the playoffs, he was rough. 18 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and a -11. But still had a good expected goals for percentage. It just was not working out for him. And then at 2C, you got Matt Duchene, who was a summer 2023 free agent pickup, 34-year-old, on a very nice contract.
This might be, I mean, it's probably not going to age well towards the last, like, year or two of it, but like right now, last year and this year, this is one of the best contracts in the NHL. I mean, getting a point per game player on a $4.5 million contract.
Yeah,
Matt Duchene is extremely good, and is the kind of 2C that could win that could win for sure.
100%. But yeah, like say a point per game, 30 goal scorer in the regular season. Rough playoffs. I did not remember him having this bad of a playoffs. 18 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points, and a -16.
-16 is crazy.
Which, plus minus is, a debatable stat, but a -16 is wild.
He had 6 points, so that means that they gave up 22 goals while he was on the ice.
Gave up 16. Right. Yeah.
Right, because he had 6 points, so then they gave up 22 while he was on the ice.
Yeah.
That's
that's
a lot of goals.
Not great, Chief. Tyler Seguin, he is, and this is kind of unfair, kind of the problem with this team right now.
I mean, this is easily the worst contract that's here, right? And a lot of we talked about Rantanen as being a big reason, but if they didn't have this contract biting them in the ass, then they would be they would not be in this situation at all.
No, because then you could give Robertson like $2 million of it. You could give Harley like 3 or 4, and then you can give Bork like 2 or 3, and then boom,
yeah.
Because right now that $9.8 million for the next 2 years, on with a full no movement clause. He's 33, acquired in 2013 in a trade, in the summer trade. When he's healthy, he's still good. 20 games, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points, plus 15. It was pretty dominant. That was through the first 20 games of the season. Then got hurt, missed the entire rest of the season, came back in the playoffs, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, and a -3. Like, he's a good player. He still is a good player, but he's just injured all the time. And he's making a ton of money. And if his contract expired this year, it wouldn't even be that bad. Because then you could just basically tell Harley, Bork, and Robertson, like, let's ride out the year. I know you want your extension early. Let's ride it out. Sagan comes off the books. We'll give him a Ben deal. And then, we'll figure out how to distribute, the rest of the money to you guys. But with him having another year after this, that's tough.
That's a big bind that they're in.
And then moving on to their bottom 6, this is a bit of an issue, I think.
Yeah.
There are some players I really like.
They lost Marchment, I think, was such a huge point of their wing depth. Was Mason Marchment. So
lost Marchment and Dadonov in this bottom 6 on their wings. So they have Oscar Beck, who in his rookie year last year's a 3rd-round pick in 2018, 73 games, 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points, and a +1, and a 41% expected goals percentage. Kind of got shelled in the shifts. Not bad though for a bottom 6 rookie. But
I'm assuming that's not 5v5 too, right? Because he's on their penalty kill, right? So,
I don't know. There's whatever Puckpedia has for their expected goals for percentage.
Interesting. Because you'd expect 3rd line player and like bottom 6 players to be lower on this because they're generally going to be getting harder shifts and be outskilled and stuff like that. But I mean that is pretty low. So,
and then especially like on this Dallas team that had like a decent, they had a decent expected goals for percentage, right? Not amazing. And then the playoffs, 11 games, 2 assists, -2, 23% expected goals for percentage, just absolutely shelled in the playoffs.
Yeah, but didn't. I mean, only a -2, right? Means that that was not as shelled as he could have been for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the shots hitting the goalie, not a lot going in the net. So not the worst. But I think if he's ideally is someone you probably want on your fourth line. Unless takes a big jump, right? Unless takes a big jump,
for sure. Well, he is surrounded by an extremely good third line center that could potentially help him make the jump. I think Wyatt Johnston, 22 years old, first round pick in 2021. I mean, just got his extension. I think this is one of the most exciting young players in the NHL, for sure.
100%.
I mean, he's 22. He had a 71-point season last year. Played all 82. I mean, this is a guy that when Duchesne, Benn, Sagan are gone, he's going to be the staple of their top six, right? He's going to be a guy, and now having him as their 3C is just means that they are so stacked, with talent, in the forward position, at least down the middle, right? So,
and he's a 3C by label,
but not by deployment.
A lot. He is like the go-to whenever there's a winger injured in the top six. He's like the go-to promotion to go play in a top six role in the wing.
We'll see how much they're able to do that this year with a little bit less depth. But and
he's also like really good in the playoffs. In his short career, this year he has a -16, which is rough. But last year he had 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 points, and a +4 in the playoffs. And the year before, his rookie year, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points, and a -4. So he's already up to 32 points in 3 seasons in his first 3 years, playoff points, which is really good, right? There are much better players that have fewer points in the past 3 years in the playoffs than Wyatt Johnston.
Yeah, I think a lot of Dallas's long-term success, besides figuring out the contract Tetris that they've kind of put themselves into, is going to be on Wyatt Johnston making a big leap. I think if he makes a leap and is a first line, like a 1C caliber player with the kind of scoring touch that he showed, 33 goal season, right? With the kind of scoring touch that he showed and the couple of like streaks that he had a point streak, a goal streak. I don't remember what exactly it was that he had, but he just got crazy hot. At around the midpoint of the season. Like if he can be that player all the time, and they get to move Hintz down to like the second line, and then and he's just like taking over games. He's the kind of player that could. He's 22 years old. He just had an amazing season. If he takes another leap this year or next year or whenever, that's the kind of thing that is going to make it so that the Stars are like real, and they are Stanley Cup contenders. I don't think we led with that. I like this. This is a team that deserved to be in the Western Conference Finals last year, and I think will probably, if I had to make a bet, will make it there again, right? But in order for them to really win a cup, right, I think it's going to be on Wyatt Johnston to really make a jump. So,
And then another guy they're hoping makes a jump is Maverick Bourque, who at 23 just signed a very favorable $950,000  1-year extension. First round pick in 2020. I think Bourque is one of the more overrated young players in the league. The idea that he was going to command like this huge RFA market, maybe like offer sheets, 73 games, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points, +6. Played a lot of third and fourth line minutes, right?
Yeah. There's a crowded group ahead of him. This year is really going to be the big one for him, right? If he can produce on this line, because I think he was playing a lot of fourth line last season, right?
Yeah, a lot of. I think it was mostly third, but yeah, he played some fourth line for sure. And I mean, odds are Benn and Sagan not going to be fully healthy for the full 82, right?
He's going to have his chances.
So he should have an opportunity to play in a top 6 role at some point this year. Be interesting to see if he takes it. And then the playoffs this year, he was barely played at all. Not for health reasons. 3 goals, no points, and a -1. He was healthy scratch for most of the playoffs. So, yeah, I think they're going to definitely want him to take a big step, or use him as potential trade bait.
Yeah.
Then the fourth line. This is one of my favorite players on the Stars, Sam Steele. I love him as a fourth liner. 27-year-old, $2.1 million, which is a little rich for a fourth line, but with the cap going up, not such a big deal. 79 games, 6 goals, 19 assists, 25 points, and a -6. I mean, not numbers that jump off the page at you, but
good numbers for a fourth liner.
Yeah, and just there's some games, and it felt like a lot of his goals were big goals in games. From what I remember watching, it wasn't just Sam Steele scored the 5th goal in a 7-1 win, right? It felt like
they
were bigger ones. There's more that stand out in my mind that makes me surprised there was only 6 goals. So I think he scored some big goals in big moments. The playoffs, I mean, decent for a fourth liner, right? 18 games, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points, and a -1. Got shelled a little bit, but a -1, 7 points from your fourth line winger, I feel like you take that.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly serviceable fourth liner.
Yeah. And then their only core team ad is Radek Faksa, who they're bringing back. Was a Dallas Star for a long time. Brought him in the summer in free agency, $2 million, 3 years. Which I think is a perfectly fine contract. 70 games with St. Louis last year, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points, and a -2. And then the playoffs, his expected goal score was pretty low, but in 7 games, a goal, 4 assists, 5 points, and a +7. I mean, if you can get, a kind of a playoff gamer as your 4C, I mean, this is that depth, right? That we were talking about. With the 2Cs are important. And looking at
no, I mean
how often are 3 and 4 C's good?
There's a 4 deep center pool for sure. Fox is a good bottom 6 center for sure.
Yeah. So. And then my namesake Colin Blackwell rounds out this top 6. Played 63 games last year. Was a healthy scratch for some, but Sagan also missed most of the season, so he did get a good amount of games, and projects to get a good amount of games this year unless somebody's going to come up from the minors and take a spot from him. 6 goals, 11 assists, 16 points, and a +4. And then the playoffs, 11 games, had just the 1 goal and a -5. Yeah. He's not a top 12 player, to be honest, but he's the cheap option that they have.
Yeah. And interesting, we talked a bit earlier about the Stars, hits. They were one of the most hit and one of the least hitting teams. And this fourth line is not the most physical, I would say.
No. Blackwell will throw hits, but Steele and Fox are not hitters. So I actually saw Foxa actually had 115 hits last season, which would make him second on the Stars. Wow. Okay.
So, not the biggest, again, those aren't the hugest hitting numbers, but, maybe a little bit more physicality that they've added to their back end. I think this forward group is the strength though of the Stars team, despite a couple of misgivings and some questions, maybe a little bit about the bottom 6, but the defense group is extremely top heavy. And we'll see. Yeah. There's a lot of questions on the back end of this defense for sure.
Yeah, there's a ton.
So Asa Lindell, who is on a very, very good contract, $5.2 million for the next 5 years. Who was also product of the Stars' 3rd round pick.
Yep.
In 2012. God, they are really good at getting value out of these late picks. So I mean, this is a great. He's just a shutdown. He's just a shutdown first pairing defenseman. I think he performs that job adequately. He's one of the best of it in the league. Was +34
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm seeing 45% expected goals, 4%. I think that's probably a product of being such a heavy defensive zone star. Like, just played so, if you're in the defensive zone, this is the guy that you want. And, playing the game, and he's going to be a big reason why the Stars penalty kill was so good, right? This is just an elite defenseman, and so which is fantastic to pair with one of the best, a very good offensive defenseman in Miro Heiskanen, right? Playing on his side, their first round pick in 2017. $8.4 million for the next 4 years, so he's locked up for the time being. They're probably happy with that, and really only played 50 games, missed some time, missed some playoffs, right? That was probably a big part of why they got a little bit shelled in some of the games that they did. But Miro is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He's top 10 defenseman in the NHL for sure.
Yep.
You can make arguments for whatever higher that you want, but he's definitely top 10, and I think he's a big reason why this why this blue line is able to do anything, right?
Oh yeah.
He's logging heavy minutes. He's power play quarterback. He's penalty killing. Like, he's doing all this stuff. So
yeah, you take these two guys away, and this blue line is like tragic, right?
Yeah.
It is rough. It is very, very top heavy. Well, I guess plus the next guy you're probably going to talk about.
We can talk about Thomas Harley, who at 23 years old was a first round pick in 2019, and had really just a breakout year.
Yep.
Played 78 of the 82 games, 50 points, plus 32, 56 expected goals, 4%. I mean, when Miro was gone, he had to do it all.
Yeah.
As the offense, as the offensive defenseman on this thing, this was not a deep defense core. I mean, they had Cody Ceci playing significant amounts of time in top four pairings, Matt Dumba, right? So Harley really had to do a lot last year, and he really stepped into that role. And I mean, that's part of the reason that it's going to be tough to hold on to him, because there's definitely other teams in the league that are looking at him thinking that he could be a number one option.
Yeah.
And I mean, you surround him with the right kind of talent, and he proved that he could be last year.
Yeah.
So
he played on Team Canada for Four Nations whenever they had multiple defense injuries. And I think he had a goal in his two Four Nation games.
I do not remember.
If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he did for Canada. So we're talking about that level of player, right? That's towards the top of Canada's list.
Yeah, I mean, that top 20 to 30 defensemen in the NHL, maybe, in terms of offensive overall potential and stuff like that. I think I think he's going to demand quite a bit of money this year, and they're gonna want to pay him. Yeah. He's going to be worth it. Whatever the number is that he says, he's going to be worth that amount of money. You want to talk about Bush?
Yeah, so this blue line really falls apart from here.
I'll take the good half, you take the bad half,
Yeah, that top three is amazing, right? Absolutely, a core that you want to build around for a cup team. Yeah. Lyubushkin at 31 years old, $3.2 million. I mean, he's a good foot soldier, right? 80 games, 14 points, plus 5. I've seen a lot of Lyubushkin. He was a Toronto Maple Leaf as well. He played first pairing minutes next to Morgan Riley, and he looked okay. He looked okay, but he looks okay everywhere he goes, right? Yeah. Which there's value to that, right?
Player.
There's value to that whenever you have a guy like Heiskanen get hurt. That he can be flexible and play well. If he's on a third pair, I'm super happy. I'd love to have Lyubushkin on my third pair. Maybe not making $3 million, but you give Lyubushkin $1.5 million to play on my third pair, I'm super happy. Looking at him on a second pair making double that is dicey. Then on your third pair, they have Bischel first round pick in 2022. He made his NHL official debut. I think he played a couple games the year before, like his cup of coffee. Last year in the regular season, 38 games, 9 points and a +2. And then the playoffs, he played quite well. Only had the 1 assist in the 18 games, but was a net 0 and a 57% expected goals for percentage. He showed that he belongs in the NHL. I don't think there's any way you could send him back down to the minors, where he did play 28 games for the Texas Stars, had 9 points and a +9. I think this guy is officially an NHL top 6 defenseman at this stage. He is massive and plays big, which I love when a big boy plays big.
Yeah.
But he doesn't play out of control from what I've seen. Like, he would get challenged to fights a lot, and he picked his spots. But he wasn't like Matt Rempe with New York, where it's like anybody wants to drop the gloves and he just like immediately throws them off. He doesn't seem to play it too out of control.
Oh,
and
we'll see if he
looked
can,
good in the playoffs for a rookie, right?
Yeah, definitely a good playoffs from him. We'll see if he can increase the physicality a little bit of this team. He definitely looks, like you said, he definitely looks like he belongs. We'll see what his actual ceiling is as an NHL player. I mean, he's not the most skilled guy, but definitely, belongs, right? So they're certainly happy to have him in his ELC.
There's 2 years left on his ELC before you got to go into off-fame mode.
They're very happy about that.
Yeah. Expires at the same time as Sagan, so,
and then
could be good. And then their last spot here really could go to anybody. Nils Lundkvist is the guy that played the most at the NHL level last year, so he's the guy that I put in here. At 24-year-old, he was a summer trade in 2022 from the Rangers on the last year of his $1.2 million. And he's had such an up and down run with Dallas, where like there's stretches where he looks really good and stretches where he looks really bad. Then he gets benched or he gets sent down to the minors. And it's been kind of this, especially with DeBoer. DeBoer would like call him out and bench him a lot whenever he would have bad games, which sometimes he'd have really bad games, right? But last year it looked like he was kind of getting consistent finally, but got hurt and missed the entirety of the rest of the season. In the playoffs, he played 39 games, just the 5 assists, but a +4 and a 52% expected goals for percentage, which doesn't sound all that great, but he is a undersized defenseman. I don't have it offhand right now, but he is five something.
Those are great numbers for a defense, like for a low, like a third pairing defenseman, right? He's a 6 foot 192. Is what I've got it.
He is a pretty much offense only defenseman though.
Yeah.
Where he came out as, that kind of had no defensive game and decided to develop it. And this year he kind of looks like he's put together a defensive game. The offensive numbers aren't really there, but
he's a guy that they'd love to take a bit of a leap, right? With a little bit more of a ceiling on him, with him having a more consistent year. If he could be like a second pairing right-handed defenseman and they can sign him for a reasonable contract, because he is an RFA after this season, right? So they are going to have to figure him out along with Bork, Robertson, Harley, right? That's going to be a tough free agent class to do. But they'd really love to be able to play him. And maybe they can ship off Bush to free a little bit of money.
Yeah, and unless he has an explosive year this year, I don't think he'll be too hard to resign. Because he hasn't really proven himself to be consistent yet. And then in the press box, they do have 3 guys. 2 of them I think could see decent NHL time this year. Kolyachonok is who they acquired from the Penguins in exchange for Matt Dumba and a second-round pick.
He's way better than Matt Dumba, but I wouldn't say he's offering too much to this already lefty heavy group. He's probably an NHLer, still up in the air a little bit about that, but he's depth for if somebody goes down. I think they'll be happy that he's there. So
yep. And then the other option they have down here is Alex Petrovic, who has been pretty much a career AHLer, has had a few cups of coffee here and there around the league. He's 33. He has been at the Texas Stars since 2021, so he's been there for a while. Played just the 5 regular season games last year, so otherwise not much of a guy of note. However, he did play 17 playoff games, played playoff games over guys like Matt Dumba. And played all but one playoff game, had a goal, an assist. He was a -1, had really good possession metrics. And he kept his spot when Heiskanen came back into the lineup. They decided to run 11 forward, 7D instead of sending Petrovic back down into the press box or back up to the press box, and kind of proved himself as like a playable guy in the playoffs. And I kind of wonder a little bit if they should look at trading him if they're not done, because I don't know that he necessarily clears waivers right at the end of the summer. There could be a chance
someone would take him.
Yeah, a team that's like sitting there like, man, we don't have a 6th defenseman on this roster. Or a team that's like really trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel in the budget. A team like Vegas, right, who doesn't have much money but would like to add another defenseman, could totally scoop up a guy like Petrovic, right? A team that doesn't necessarily need a regular season performer, but just like a decent 6th playoff defenseman. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets scooped up. And then Kyle Capobianco, he's a career AHLer, played a game. Was a -2 and a 12% expected goals for percentage.
That's wow.
Which, like, single game expected goals for is
no, obviously, but that just
really not a relevant stat. But I mean, that's
no points while he's on the ice, and
yikes. that's a rough one game he played for Dallas.
Yeah, I would not expect to see him unless there's a lot of injuries. So
yeah,
you want to move on to net?
Yeah, we got the Otter, Jake Oettinger. 26-year-old, first-round pick, 2017, same draft as Miro and Robo.
What a good draft.
Yeah. Signed to his $8.25 million by 8-year contract, which is the standard rate of non-Dostal starters in the NHL these days.
Yeah.
And he is really good. 36, 18-4 record, 909 save percentage, which is a little lower than you'd want. But 2.59 goals against average and a goal saved above expected of 10.65. I mean, he was fantastic. And then the postseason, he was solidly good.
Yeah.
9-8 record, 905 save percentage, 2.82 goals against average, 4.67 goals saved above expected. Definitely was not the reason that they did not beat Edmonton.
Hey, don't tell that to Pete DeBoer. So
according to Pete DeBoer, he was the big reason. I think,
and that's why Pete DeBoer is no longer the coach of the Dallas Stars.
True, just mind-boggling. I would say it is the lack of goal scoring was the biggest issue.
We saw their we saw some of their advanced statistics, right? They just didn't have those, right? Their goaltending was not the issue. It was the skaters in front of Oettinger. So
yeah, and I think until the Edmonton series, Otter was statistically the second best goalie in the playoffs.
I'd believe it. He's definitely a goalie that is good enough to be your franchise starter. That is good enough to be to win a cup. He's not in the, I would say, like the super duper elite like tier of goalies, but he's like right outside of that.
Yeah.
And so I think that is perfectly capable of winning a cup. Like you're happy to have him in that.
And I do want to do a future segment on like you don't necessarily need a superstar goalie to win a cup.
Right.
Like you need
just
a
need
superstar
a goalie
center,
to get hot.
a superstar 1C or a superstar. You kind of don't even need a 1D technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just need a goalie that can get hot, and Otter definitely can get hot.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And Casey DeSmith was also a super duper serviceable backup.
Yeah.
You love to see it from your backup having a 915 save percentage.
Yep.
Played 27 games, so was able to take some of the load off of Andre and was good, like really good in those games. So
15.86 goal saved would have expected.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have played in the playoffs if I'm being completely honest. But
I think he appeared because in a couple games where Jake had a rough start, and then
did he just get pulled when he
last one where like
that was the one I was referring to.
Yeah.
Was that he should not have been in that in that game. But I mean, you literally could not ask for more from your backup goalie making $1 million a year to be a very, very good backup. So one of the best backups in the NHL last year, especially for his contract. So did you have any guys you wanted to talk about in the prospect or minors pool, guys that you think might make a contribution to the team next year?
Not really, and I think that's almost a little bit of a story in that there's not a lot more coming right now. They had Huru who came up. He played 5 games. He was, I think he was. I remember him. I think I was at his game where he got an assist. It was one of the 2 Stars games I went to last year. I can't remember though. It might not have been him. But in the AHL. He's a good AHL player. In the NHL, 5 games, 1 assist. AHL, 67 games, 49 points in a +15 in the regular season. And then in the Calder Cup playoffs, 14 games and a +8. And I don't know how to say this last name. Herkoian, also 24. Also played 5 games in the NHL. Also had 1 assist, but he was a +1 instead of a +0. So, way better than
way better.
And he was almost a point per game in the AHL and a +15 and was over a point per game in the playoffs as a +4. He is one that I think could be a guy. Undrafted free agent. They pulled out of Europe last year. Both him and Huru last summer, UDFAs. I think he's a guy that they could look to call up if there's an injury into the top 6. Or could battle a guy like Blackwell for a bottom 6 role.
Yeah.
And has some pedigree in the AHL playoffs at least. 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points in 14 games. I mean, that's great.
That is great.
If you can bring any of that to
we'll see.
To the NHL, maybe. But then there are other forwards. There's not a lot here.
Yeah, they're definitely a little short on depth, which is something to be expected from a team in this stage, right? Where basically their depth has all made it to the NHL, right? They've got Johnston and Bork, Robertson, Bischel, right? Came up this last year, right? So they're fully in all the guys are here. So if they've got significant injuries or players are underperforming or something like that, they're in the stage of we're gonna have to trade. We're gonna have to find something. But in terms of like the overall outlook of this team, mentioned it briefly. I think these are contenders. I wouldn't put them as favorites to win the Stanley Cup, but I would not be surprised if they made it to the Cup Finals, or even that surprised if they won the Stanley Cup if they were getting some good performances. I think we've outlined a couple of key players that we think are going to need to make some jumps in order for this team to really hit that next level of being cup contenders. But I mean, hard to be upset with the level of continued success that they've had for the last few years. Besides that, it hasn't resulted in a cup, right?
Yeah.
So
no cup, but lots of conference finals. The one Stanley Cup final appearance in 2021, right? When they lost to Tampa. And I think they've been a conference finalist almost every year since 2020.
I'd expect them to repeat that at least. So let's hope they can. Let's hope they can take the next step.
Less confident, but
looking at your hat, I think we.
Yeah, I'm not wearing the conference finalist hat this time. But yeah, I think they're definitely a top team in the West. Exactly where they rank is debatable, but yeah, I think this team is really good. I do want to highlight there is a couple defensemen that could potentially be on the way. They were skipped over. Bertucci and Kyrou are both second-round picks, one from 2022 and one from 2023. Kyrou has struggled so far in his development, and Bertucci has only played in the OHL. So this is going to be his first year in the AHL, is joining the roster. Unless he gets sent to the ECHL for whatever reason, but I think that'd be a mistake. But yeah, these are two guys who potentially could be on the way in the defense, but it's to be determined.
Yeah,
for them. And then I don't think there's any of the unsigned guys that are overly exciting looking. Meneshian has been pretty decent over in the NCAA. He was a 4th-round pick. Could be a guy. And then in the forwards, it's a bunch of minor league guys or juniors players, so it's kind of hard to say, how good any of them will be.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Stars they're an interesting team. I think they're going to be quite good. I think they're unfortunately in the West. I know they're unfortunately in the West. And the West is really good. I think they'd easily be a conference finalist in the East. And especially if they put them in the Metro.
I mean, any playoff team could win the Metro.
That's kind of true. And then lastly, I do have their draft pick stockpile. They do not have a first this year. They have a second and a third. So if they want to ammo up at the deadline, they can get a decent-ish bottom to middle player, but not a top level player. They have their first next year if they want, or their first in 2027 if they want to load up. And in 2028, they've already emptied the war chest in the first and second round. So they have some picks.
Hey, by next year, they'll have their 2029 picks available to trade from. So, and this is a team that I would not expect to pick very much in the first round for the next few years, as they're in their window. I think their window is pretty extended here with Otter, Heiskanen, Robo, all these guys in their just entering their prime here, right? They've got. They're going to have to reload at some point that second line with Ben, Duchesne, and Sagan, right? They're going to have to bring in some more guys, but that's not out of the question. I think this is a team that is probably going to be they're very good at drafting, as we discussed a little bit. So they'll probably find a guy in the second or the third that can contribute at the NHL level, but they're probably not going to be picking too often, if I had to guess. I think they're going to have to spend to compete with these other Western teams that are just nuts. So
yeah, I count 11 of the 20 guys who are projected to be in the starters or in the on getting dressed game one are draft picks.
That's really impressive. So
yeah,
definitely a good job done from them.